think this is live. Right, you have to... Whoa, why is my background all black? Bear with me a little bit. It's been a while since I've streamed on Twitch, and I just want to see if it sounds okay. So let's have a look. Hopefully this sounds alright and looks okay. Just checking before we get started. Okay, so let's have a look. Hopefully this sounds alright and looks okay. Cool. Just checking before we get started. Oh, is it looping? Oh, it is. Not ideal. Cool, okay. I'm gonna assume that it's all fine. It's been such a hot minute since I've streamed. It looks okay on my end. So, why can I not hear anything in game? Yeah, I can. Cool, okay. Can you guys let me know if the volume of me and the game is okay? My computer is doing weird things I don't like. It's making funny noises. Does it sound okay? You can hear me? You can hear the game, you can hear me. It's not too loud, it's not too quiet. It's hard to tell for me to sound. Check how this sounds. Let's have a listen real quick. Okay. Computer is doing weird things I don't like. It's making funny noises. Wonderful. Okay, I could be a tad louder. Let me increase the gain of my microphone by just a little bit. Okay. How is that? Is that any better? Can you hear me okay? I can always move a little bit closer. I don't want to drown out the volume of the game. I want you to be able to hear it, but obviously you need to be able to hear me. How's that? In fact, you know what? Let me move my microphone just a little bit closer to me. Excuse the ASMR. Okay. If that's all good, I'm going to make a start. The game volume is really quiet on my end, which is really weird. Okay. I'm going to make a start. Is that okay? This is the final checks before we get started. Although obviously if it's not great, I can always change it as we progress. I'm going to get last chance. Hopefully the delay is not too bad. Cool, well no one said anything, so I'm just going to crack on and hope that it's okay. I haven't really changed any of the text box settings, so if it lingers for a long time, I'm sorry. We can always fix that later on. Right, let's just get started. So, this is Yuri's route, obviously. I did see Yuri's route because I wrote it myself back in 2020 in the summer. I honestly, this was very impulsive to do Yuri's route developer commentary. I was kind of done with DDLC, but I found myself listening to the DDLC soundtrack, DDLC Plus soundtrack yesterday, and I thought, I've not done Yuri. Let's do Yuri's route commentary. So I thought, fuck it, let's do it. This is going to contain, obviously, thoughts, the writing process behind Yuri's route, and any questions that you guys might have. I appreciate that there are some new people in the chat who weren't here for series route, so if you have any questions regarding development or Yuri's route, this is the prime time to ask questions, etc. I'm just going to crack on then, and we'll see how we go. It's been a while, so I'll try and de-rust my developer skills. So me and Yuri, we wrote Yuri's route together. Good news, she will actually be around to join me next Saturday, so that's really cool. Hopefully, she might be able to remember some things that I forget, because she wrote the good ending, and I wrote the bad ending. So we're going to do the bad ending first, and then we'll do the good ending, and we'll just crack on from there. Enter your name. Should I just put MC for the sake of it? Yeah, I'll put MC. Fuck it. Boring name, I know. I'm not going to spend too much time going over Act 1, because I've already covered it in Series Route. You can find the Series Route developer commentary on the Blue Skies channel, and Yuri's route will also be uploaded there, so that's not going to be changed. Oh wait, before we start, let me just double check to see if I've turned on that setting that allows you to save streams, because if not, that's going to be a problem. Fuck, where do you find that? God damn, I'm so... stream, mature content, latency mode, store past broadcast, that's on. Perfect, okay. We're good to go. Man, okay, right, so, let's crack on. Wow, 21 people, that's a lot. So yeah, I'm not going to go over Act 1. Because I've already done that, and I'll skip Halloween because I've already done that, and sense nudity obviously because there are boobs and we don't want to see boobs on Twitch because I don't want to get struck off the platform. So yeah, I'm not going over this. If you want to go over Act 1 stuff, check out the Sayori developer commentary. I will not be doing that this time. I'm just going to really focus on Yuri stuff for now. So, Yuri's route, in terms of the history for it, so, God, as far as I can remember, and this is going back a while, when we first started Blue Skies, I was the Sayori route writer, Britt was writing for Monica, Jay, bless him, Jay was writing for Natsuki, and who was writing for Yuri? There was some guy whose name was Natsuki on the Discord server. I'm going to turn the volume down a little bit. Yeah, some guy called Natsuki who was writing Yuri's route. We reshuffled him and got rid of him because he wasn't doing anything. And then a guy called Taco got involved and he was writing Yuri's route. But his writing was not great. So we put out an advert for Yuri, and someone called Tactical Cupcakes joined, and her writing was really good, and she actually writes a lot of fanfics on the DDLC subreddit from what I can remember, so she knew her stuff, and she wrote an outline for Act 2, but then she had to dip in December, which is December 2018, which was when we made the decision to get rid of Yuri and Monica's routes. Obviously that sucked, and someone called Blaze, oh god, this motherfucker. So he joined Blue Skies and he said, I think I can write Yuri's route for you. So we were like, cool, okay. And he wrote Act 2 based on Cupcakes' outline. But Blaze was very unreliable and he kind of dipped halfway through Act 3 after ghosting us for about a year. So me and Britt had to write Yuri's route together. And how it's going to be is Act 2 is basically us rewriting Blaze's writing because it sucked. And Act 3 was when me and Britt kind of did it ourselves, if that makes sense. So Britt would write one day, I would write the next, and we'd alternate until we got to the bad and good ending split, in which case I wrote the bad ending and Britt wrote the good ending. And that's basically it, in a nutshell, story of Yuri's route. It's a bit more complicated than Sayori's route, because obviously I did hers, so straight to the finish, from start to beginning, I should say. So a bit more of a rocky history with Yuri, and she almost didn't make it into the mod really. There was a very real possibility that her route never would have made it into the game, which would have upset a lot of people. And I think personally, Yuri's route is the best route because by the time I wrote it with Brit, I'd already done Yuri's route and had a lot of feedback on it, so I was a lot more experienced. I kind of knew what I was doing a bit more. And Brit's a really good writer, so we had, I think, without sucking my own dick here, 2 of the strongest writers doing Yuri's route. I think Yuri's route is good as well. It's much more simple, but I think that's okay. Yuri's route just has a lot more depth to it, and I feel like the good ending is a lot more satisfying. But we will get into that later on. But broadly speaking, Act 2, I pretty much had, in terms of like characterization, this was all cupcakes and to an extent Blaze. And then in Act 3, that's kind of where me and Brit took over and kind of moulded Yuri more into our own image. Well, not after me and Brit obviously, but kind of our ideas for Yuri, I should have clarified. Hello, Brawl, how you doing? Okay, so we're just going to skip through Act 1. Yeah, we're just going to whiz through this. We're not going over Act 1 again. So we're just going to pick Yuri words. It should be fairly simple. Also, I'm on a new computer since my last developer commentary, so I have no saves or anything. So this is very, kind of fresh. I'm just going to check the settings real quick. There's a huge delay between the people saying stuff in Twitch chat and it popping up. Now, I know that there is a delay on these things, but the last time I streamed this, it was way quicker. So let me just have a look and see if there's anything. Chat delay 0 seconds. No. Just gonna have to roll with a bit of a delay, I'm afraid. It's not the end of the world. I'll still be able to get through to people who are asking questions and stuff. So, right, where are we? Second monitor, there we go. Cool, so Yuri words, these are pretty simple. Fantasy is an Atsuki word, not a Yuri word? Okay, weird. Thankfully, Yuri words are pretty easy to get because they're the most fancy sounding ones, whereas I always struggled with the Sayori and Natsuki ones when I was going through them. So this is nice and simple. Monica's words were a bit like Yuri's. So when Monica was in the route in the game a long time ago, that was an issue there. Yeah, Yuri's route is quite difficult, I feel, in terms of the choices. It makes you think about a lot of things, and I think that's a good thing. Some people might disagree, but I thought that was fun to do because it was so complex compared to Serialism, which was so simple. So you got a nice mixture, and I'm all about variety when it comes to things. Let's go? Yeah, unending, vitality, tone, festa. Also, this music. See, I've got a weird relationship with DDLC. In obviously, I love the game. You know, it gave me an opportunity to write something and meet people who I otherwise never would have met. But it was because I spent so long working on it. I started to hate it, which I think is a little bit harsh. It's not a reflection on the game itself. It's just how difficult it was working on it. DDLC will always have a special place in my heart, and listening to the music always takes me back to 2018, back when, the characters made me sad, and Siri's death, it was in my mind a lot, and I was so excited to work on the mod, and it was just, it was just a different time, and hearing the music always takes me back, even 4 years later. Has it really been 4 years? Nearly, wow, 4 years. In a few weeks' time, it'll be 4 years since I played DDLC. Dev commentary. Yes, I know, Zeno. It's been a while. I impulsively thought I'd finish Yuri's route, or start and finish Yuri's route, because he's the only one that doesn't have any dev commentary. So here we are, doing Yuri. Doing Yuri. Okay, Mausoleum, Climax. Yo, what's up, BRM? Uncontrollable and Agonizing. Cool, that should be Yuri stuff. I hope that everyone's doing well, by the way. Okay, so we're going to skip all this. Again, I know I'm repeating this about a million times, but for anyone who's new here, we're not doing Act 1. Act 1 was covered in Yuri's route developer commentary. If you want to check that out, it's on YouTube. I'm not doing Act 1 anymore. It's just Yuri stuff. I want to stop saying that now, because I feel as I've said it about 4 times. So if anyone new joins, tough. I don't think this choice really matters in terms of who you choose to back for Yuri or Natsuki's route, because obviously these two choices aren't neither of them. I'm gonna go Monica. Okay, intellectual, explode. Shit, that's a scary word. I'm not doing all of Act 1 in every commentary, fuck that. No one wants to hear me talk about Act 1 twice. Act 1 sucks. Like, it's bad. It's honestly, if you look at the writing quality between Act 1 and Act 2 and Act 3, like, there is, especially with Yuri's route, there is such a big difference, because we wrote Act 1 in 2018, in early 2018 to mid 2018. Whereas Act 2 and 3 was written 2019, 2020, and it's just, yeah, the difference is mad. Special edition of DDLC Plus. Has that not arrived yet? Damn, it's been ages since that came out. It's been like half a year, hasn't it? I don't know which one of these is Yuri. Aura. Yeah, there we go. I like how climax is a Yuri word. There's always that one Siri word that trips me up. Cool. You know, it's odd hearing bass DDLC music in Blue Skies, because obviously we have our own soundtrack, but every now and again we do use a bass track. I think that's a good thing. You know, it's not us being lazy. it's nice to have variants and have, you know, the old tracks, because the old tracks are really good as well. You know, and as much as I love, you know, the Blue Skies tracks, it's nice to hear this one, which is called, this is Ohio Sayori, I think, which is a classic. So that's nice. Who's my favourite girl? Ugh, God, asking that in 2022 is a weird question. I don't really have a favourite anymore, to be honest. I don't know. I think that Monica, probably, because she has the most depth. You know, I know that all the characters are, you know, deliberately made to be cut, you know, cookie cutout. We know that phrase that I can't think of. Cutouts of, you know, who they're meant to be. Whereas Monica has a bit more depth to her, and I like confident girls, and she's confident, and that's hot. Although I've got a soft spot for Yuri as well, because you know, shy. See, I like both shy and confident girls. It's kind of weird, and also because you know, booba, but that too. Okay, let's get them out of the way now. Is there anything new in Sunday? No, not Sunday. In the preparation day, I don't think there is. I know that with series you get a new CG and you actually get to hang out with her. Whereas with Yuri, I think it's exactly the same. Sorry, Siri, I'm not doing Yuri this time, so going with Yuri. This was nice, a bit of MC development. Very Katsuba Shoujo inspired, just like a lot of tracks in this mod were. Also, this animation, which you've seen for the first time on stream because I've just skipped it, it's nice. This was inspired by Salvation, because it had a little transitional thing between their days. We must do the same. Okay, let's make this quick. So, judgment, intellectual, tenacious, portrait, effulgent. Dude, we are just whizzing through these right now. If I get a single one wrong, I'm gonna be very upset. Contamination, electricity, disarray, horror, frightening. Oh, dude, we are just fuck! I picked Doki Doki. Why did I pick Doki Doki? I knew that was an Natsuki word. God, even 5 years later, or however many fucking years it's been, I still get it wrong. God damn it. Photograph. Look at this photograph. I think Aura. Yes. Inferno. Mausoleum. Heaven Sent. Universe. Unstable. Cool. That'll do. I think we should be on Yuri's room now. Do do do. The temptation to talk about Sayori and MC's relationship, nah, that's all been covered. Strictly Yuri only. How long have I been streaming for? 20 minutes. I'm still not to Act 1. I need to pick up the pace. Okay, we're just going to skip straight to the festival now. We're not stopping for anything. Yuri. I guess I could talk about the music. So, let me sum up slightly. Yuri's music, I think, really reflects her personality. You know, it's compared to some of the other tracks, it's quite slow. It's obviously got that nice calming flute to it, and I can't remember what the inspiration was behind using the flute, because when we first started making music for the Dokis, we initially tended to stick really strongly to their instrumentation in the poems. So obviously, when you're reading Yuri's poem, it has the harp or whatever it is, or some kind of fancy stringed instrument, right? And we initially stuck to that really rigidly, but as time progressed, I realised that was too rigid. So we started to embrace, you know, instruments that weren't necessarily used there. And Nick, or YMP Bus, whatever you want to call him, he made Yuri's music, and I think this one, he made this. We didn't really consult on it. He just made it, and we were like, yeah, this slaps. Let's roll with it. I think it works really well. Obviously, it has the harp in the background, it has the flute, and also has that kind of clicking instrument. I don't know what it's called, but I remember hearing it in some of the more ambient tracks in Breath of the Wild, that kind of clicking sound. I think it's great. I don't know too much about music. Like, I'm a drummer, but like this music is not the kind of music that I'd make or listen to. But it was nice to discuss all the stuff with him. I'm not really going to watch the actual. Yeah, this is all the same, really. I think Cupcakes wrote this. I'm sure it's good, but I'm not really interested in Act 1 at the moment. I think it has the same CG as well. Yeah, it does. I mean, to be fair, it's really nice CG. The base game CGs are really good. So, yeah, we can skip all this. Yeah, this is all just. God, the amount of effort that went into making this scene, you know, because we had to make darkened versions of each sprite and add the expressions to each one, and it was a fucking pain. Honestly, like, we could have made more sprites for the mod, especially for like facial expressions, but just making the sprite is half the battle. You know, you have to fucking code them in and make sure they're all accurate with the faces, and it's a nightmare. Blah blah blah. This is all done. This argument, I'm gonna pick Natsuki just because I like the seed of Monica on the roof, even though we're gonna spend barely any time there. Oh wait, no, hang on. Well, no, you only get that if you choose Monica, not Natsuki. Oops. Never mind. Cool. So this is where day 7 is, which is the day that determines which day you're on. I don't really know too much about it, because obviously I didn't write it. Let's just skip to where we meet Yuri. Just awkward silence. When you're going through all the winter changes, writer changes, could you share what kind of ideas were dropped? God, I mean, I could if I actually prepared in advance and if I prepared in advance and actually knew what they were going to be ahead of time. For the next one, I'll have a look. For the next stream. Oh yeah, for the next stream, by the way, so I co-wrote this route with Brett, or Yuri, she's in the chat now. And she'll actually be joining for the next couple streams, which is really cool, because obviously we co-wrote it together. So with 2 people co-writing it, it's only fair that, you know, we both give commentary, so that's perfect. Look forward to that next week, next Saturday. Provisionally, it's all provisional at the moment, but yeah. Oh, yeah, bad ending. So I can actually see the Twitch chat before it pops up, because I've got my other monitor up, so that's how I can see the chat before it actually pops up. When it comes to Act 3, and we really get into it, and Act 2, there'll be much more to talk about in terms of scrapped things. But at the moment, this is all just tactical cupcake stuff that was kind of done a long, long time ago that I can't really remember. I probably shouldn't have done this in 2022, because all the stuff is not really fresh in my mind, whereas with Sayori it was, but I'll try and remember what I can. I probably should actually read this rather than just skip ahead of it. God, it's been such a long time. Because this is like cupcakes, and that's like really old stuff. You know, I can only really remember Blazers, and that was god awful. So I've seen some people comment saying that the mod feels like it's pushing you towards being with Sayori, and I can kind of see that, but it was never written with the intent to kind of make it feel like whenever you were on a different girl's route, you were, you know, on the wrong route. Well, I suppose him popping up a lot, her popping up a lot on, you know, Yuri or Natsuki's route kind of makes sense. The music is slightly distorted, Is it? That's really weird. I can have a look at the settings real quick, but I'm pretty sure. Ooh. Audio input capture properties. Let's have a look. Oh, audio input capture is that. Would the music playing be input or output? It would be input, wouldn't it? No, it would be output. I'm really bad at technology. But I know why it's doing that, and I might be able to fix it. I'm just worried that I might click a button and the whole stream will go to, you know, hell. And I don't want that. Let me have a mosey real quick. Add. Okay, you said output, so let's roll with it. Okay, that might be better? Question mark. I added it so that it's coming out of my headphones rather than. Isn't it input? I don't know. I mean, have a listen. Tell me how it sounds. If it still sounds awful or off, I will change it. Okay, I guess I fixed it. God, I'm trying to like think about all the development, you know, processes and thinking that was going on through our minds because such a long time ago. So I do apologise if I give a commentary that maybe isn't as good as Sayori's. It's been a while. I'm really not doing this in kind of the peak of my passion for DLC, but anyway, enough excuses. So obviously Yuri is quite, you know, she's very thoughtful, she's very reflective, etc. And you kind of might notice that in the route, MC starts to become slowly more like that. And we kind of had this idea for the MC to not become like the girl he's dating, but kind of take on a few more of her traits. And I think you feel see a bit more of that as the route progresses. Where did the background in this scene come from? A lot of backgrounds were taken from various websites. The odd background was commissioned by Serki, who was also one of our CG artists, and the odd background was also bought. I think this is a free-to-use background that you can use, that you can get from Minicle, or Minikle, I don't know how you pronounce his name, M-I-N-I-K-L-E, you can easily get some of his backgrounds. And Uncle Mugen. If you're creating mods, I don't know why you'd be doing that in 2022 for DLC, but if you want to, those are the websites that you want to use. And obviously, this developer commentary will contain spoilers for Yuri's route. I should have mentioned this at the start. No, the lake was not commissioned. This background is, loads of mods use this background, it's definitely not commissioned. This will contain spoilers for Yuri's route, obviously, so if you've not finished it, I'd recommend leaving the stream now. But there's a lot of foreshadowing about Yuri's parents being dead. You know, she would say that she used to come in when she was younger, etc., and there was a pained expression. There's a lot of foreshadowing about her parents' death. It starts off a bit subtle here, but at certain points in Act 2 it becomes really obvious. And yeah, it is kind of painful how stupid the MC is. Like, he doesn't get it. That is a kind of a flaw that I wish we didn't, that I'd like to have changed. If we ever do a Blue Skies Redux or Blue Skies 2, which is never going to come, by the way, you know, that is what I'd like to fix and maybe make the hints a bit less on the nose, because it's really obvious that her parents are dead and the MC just doesn't get it. But that's an Act 3 problem. Doo-doo. Ba-da-da. Yeah, it's pretty obvious. And it's so weird. Not just hearing bass game music, but seeing 2018 writing, because I know I've said that, you know, this mod took 28 months to develop, but that is a long time for things to change, you know. And just going back to 2018 for me, that was a very, very different time, and it really just transports me back. And especially in 2022 now, when things have changed so much, not just with Blue Skies, but with my own life, it's just, you know, it's wild. Like even here, there's those, you know, my dad used to come down here, does not do it anymore. It's kind of, you know, read the room, dude. I do like how the lake background has, you know, the afternoon kind of tint to it, and then the evening orangey glow. But one thing that we kind of noticed when making mods is it's sometimes very difficult to have a background actually fit what you're trying to portray, and sometimes you really had to rewrite scenes completely because you couldn't find a background that was available to use, and that was really annoying. So you kind of end up using backgrounds a lot, or if you're lucky like we were, we either commissioned them or paid for them for the money for that. But a lot of modders weren't quite that privileged, so we were able to kind of get away with a bit more creativity with our mod, which is always nice, because commissioning backgrounds is expensive. It's funny because the whole concept of being nicer to yourself, that is a common, well, I wouldn't say it's a common thing, but it's a kind of a thing that is in both Yuri's and Sayori's roots, and there are actually some strong parallels between the two roots. And we were kind of, we'd be careful, me especially, when I was writing Yuri's bad ending, because I didn't want it to feel like Sayori's, but just with a different character. So it was kind of, we'll get onto that later on, obviously, but there are some strong similarities between Yuri and Sayori that we'll get onto. I'm going to save here because I want to talk about the transitional thingamajiggy. So, obviously each act has a title card. Well, Act 2 and Act 3, Act 1 doesn't for some weird reason. I really like how Yuri's turned out. I think Britt drew this, if I remember correctly. So, there's a coffee stain, and the lyric there, in this twisted plot I was destined for, I'm an astronaut on the ocean floor. I had a lot of fun making these title cards because we wanted the title cards to reflect the Doki's personalities as well. So Yuri's, we went for lyrics because obviously, you know, lyrics in songs have meaning, and because we co-wrote Yuri's route, I took Act 2's title card and Britt took Act 3, so that way we kind of got to share. And for those of you who are unaware, the lyrics to that song is actually from an Owl City song called Bird with a Broken Wing. And I chose that lyric because, well, I mean, if you look at it, you can't see anything in this dark text box. Just this feeling of being, I just pressed the spacebar by accident and skipped it. Nice, good job, idiot. Um, Generally, the broad kind of message behind it is that if you're an astronaut on the ocean floor, you're out of place. You know, astronauts don't belong on the ocean floor, and it's just showing that, you know, it relates to Yuri feeling alone and constantly that she doesn't belong, and that kind of ties in with the title, Alone Together, which is a bit of an oxymoron in itself, but you know, it all relates to Yuri's kind of feelings of solitude and that kind of thing. And also the coffee stain, that changes to a different stain in Act 3. No, it's not piss, like it was in the poem, but a different bodily fluid. And yeah, purple text box, that's cool. Obviously each Doki, even Monaco actually, has a text box that reflects their personality. Sayori's had the morning, the sky blue morning. Natsuki had dusk or dawn, I can never remember which one's which. I think Natsuki's is dusk, question mark. And then Yuri's is nighttime. I think that one kind of speaks for itself, and she got the nice purple one. Fun fact, the text boxes actually, when they were first drafted made by Britt and Forfan, I think, they were a lot more realistic, whereas they were turned a bit more cartoony for the final build, which is, I thought that was cool. Yeah. So now that it's Act 2, I can, you know, not just skip everything. So there are some lines that Blaze wrote in Act 2 which weren't, you know, completely awful, that actually stayed in. So this one about how the pantry and fridge look like Sayori's stomach empty. That's one of the rare things that of his that made it in. He, I remember when he first wrote Act 2 drafts, they were, if you guys are familiar with the mod Brand New Day, and I'm sorry if you have, because that mod fucking sucks, it was very like memey and like culture, like pop culture references everywhere. And when Blaze was writing Act 2 Yuri, there was a lot of, yeah, the pancake thing, yeah, Brit. So he said like, there was like some weird thing, it was like alliteration with the letter P, and it was like poofy pancakes or some shit like that. And it was just me and Brit were like, what are you doing? Like, this is not a silly meme mod. Like, if you want that kind of stuff, go to fucking Brand New Day or bloody Relapse. Don't put that shit here. And we really had to crack down on it because there was just so many like references. Like, I remember at one point he wrote it's a brand new day, but he capitalized the B, the N, and the D, so it was obviously a reference to the mod. And it was just, oh my goodness, I remember we were having this discussion, like, was bringing on Blaze a good idea or not? And we had to rewrite everything, and it was, yeah, that's what I meant, poofy, and it was just, good lord. I mean, his Sayori dialogue was okay, to be fair. It wasn't awful. But Sakurai, what a bro. Yeah, Moonboy is going crazy. I don't know what his problem is. There's a really big delay between people typing stuff and it showing up, which was weird, because when I was doing Sayori commentary, it popped up like within a couple of seconds. Whereas here, it takes like 15 seconds. It's ridiculous. So I'm now just reading Twitch chat on my other monitor. But yeah. So Sakurai, I'm gonna go over Sakurai a bit again because fuck it, it's my stream. So when we made Sakurai, he was inspired by Katsuo Shoujo, surprisingly, just like everything else in this mod was. He was inspired by Muto, or Mutao, I can't remember how you pronounce his name. He was the homeroom teacher in Katsuo Shoujo, but Sakurai is quite different to Mutao. Sakurai is obviously quite young, he's very passionate about his subject, and he's got a very dry, self-deprecating sense of humour. I can't remember who exactly he was inspired by, but I do remember. I had an English teacher who was very much like Sakurai. He was very dry and very sarcastic. He wasn't self-deprecating, but he was very dry, and that's kind of where a bit of Sakurai's personality came from. And I think I was the first to write for Sakurai, so I kind of had not free reign, but once we kind of set up the parameters of his personality, I was the first to like fill it in, and it was really nice to have that freedom and kind of explore his personality. It's just nice to have, you know, as far as supporting characters go, I know a lot of DDLC fans don't like OCs in DDLC mods, and I can understand that, especially when they're shitty self-inserts, like some of the other sprites I've seen of various YouTubers. Spaghetto, you know who you are, bro. But Sakurai was really cool. He, you know, being an older adult, he's a teacher, and we kind of wanted him to be seen as a, not a, I guess a kind of father figure to the MC, kind of, not really. He's just very, it's nice to have advice from your teacher, and to have a teacher that actually cares. Because I think with all our teachers, they don't give a shit. And he's an exception to the rule. I think a lot of people can kind of see Sakurai in themselves. Which is nice, I guess. Yeah, Brit, those self-inserts. Whew! DDLC community likes those. So here, when the MC says, you know, learning about his favourite subject with his favourite teacher, him sardonically saying, I'm going to interpret that as non-sarcastic, you know, it's that kind of humour that he has. He was a really fun character to write because, you know, it was my first time writing, and when we were brainstorming this character, just coming up with a personality and kind of trying to flesh it out and actually make it work was really fun, because we've already got the personalities of Sayori, Yuri, Natsuki, and Monica, and to an extent the MC, whereas, you know, Sakurai was just, you know, into the unknown, along with Mom C, but she will pop up later. And the decision for Emmy's sprite to zoom across was actually a tactical one, because obviously she's on the track team and she's fast, so I thought the actual sprite of her whizzing into place rather than just showing up was kind of fitting. So that was a design choice rather than a weird option. And what's funny here is because, so in the Sayori route, there's a joke that Sakurai makes about how it's ironic that a member of the track team is the last one to arrive, and Blaze took that joke, rewrote it, somehow made it worse, so I had to get rid of it and put in a different kind of joke instead about how him sarcastically thinking that she'd rather be on the field rather than come to his lectures. I wonder how you made Emmy's personality. I mean, I can't tell if that's trolling, but in case it isn't, I'm going to bite. We didn't. It's taken from Katua Shoujo, because that's where she's from. She's not an OC, she's from a different VN visual novel. So initially, obviously Sakurai's a history teacher. There was initially going to be, yeah, I thought you were trolling, but I thought I'd be safe rather than sorry. Or sorry rather than safe, I guess. What was I going to say? Sakurai being a history teacher, they're studying the First World War, and that's my favourite part of history. So initially in the drafts, or the first builds of this game, of the mod, there was a lot more actual history in the mod, but people were saying, I don't want to learn history, take it out, so I did, which is a shame, because I enjoyed fleshing him out and flexing my historical knowledge. So the green-haired guy from the festival, whose name is Eiji, or IG, I can't remember how you pronounce it, he was going to have a bit more role in Monica's route, I think. Because obviously Britt went through all the hassle of creating a sprite for a character, and that takes a lot of time. And we only use him for one scene, which is a shame. Back then we were going to use him in Monica's route, but we didn't realise that, you know, Monica's route would be cut. So he ended up only being used for one scene, which is kind of funny and sad. One of the history reads, critiquing the history segments. I remember Shaggy saying to me, so there was a question in Sayori's route where Sakurai asks MC how the British got involved in the First World War. And I said it's because Germany invaded through Belgium, and they had a treaty with the UK that if they got invaded, the UK would have to help. And he said to me, that's wrong. And I'm like, excuse me, what? So what I was taught in history was wrong? Like, hello? And he was like, yeah, there was no such treaty. And I'm like, I copied and pasted the Wikipedia article that was like Treaty of London. I'm like, don't try and challenge me on this, bro. Like, Muppet. Anyway. Right, where are we? Oh, hey, Yuri. So initially, there was a scene here where Yuri is being bullied by people. I think, yeah, Blaze wrote that initially, and then me and also Britt and I can't concentrate because now I'm being called out for history. There was no treaty. I mean, there was, but I'm not going into that now. There were going to be bullies here, but we took it out because every Yuri mod has got a bully scene in it. Outcast does it. Fallen Angel, I think Fallen Angel has it. Our Castle Wars does. Literally every fucking mod has a bully scene, and it's overdone. And also, if we had a bully scene, we would have to keep, like, you know, try and maintain it throughout the mods, because if we just had a bully scene at the start of Act 2 and then never again, it would feel very inconsequential, especially for something as serious as bullying. So we got rid of it, and we just completely sacked it off. So this part here with Yuri saying she's carrying books and MC offers to help, what was I going to say? I keep watching the Twitch chat. Well, I really can't multitask. Anyway, so Yuri's saying that no, she can handle it, it's fine. And MC being like, no, I can do it, it's fine. That's a really important part of Yuri's route. We're going for the bad ending first, and then we're doing the good ending. Basically, you don't want to mollycoddle Yuri. You don't want to do everything for her, because that's how she won't be able to, if you do that, she won't be able to grow as a person, and you will get called out for that. Both immediately after the decision and also during the argument and in the bad ending. So just bear that in mind. Yeah, we're doing bad ending first. I mean, we won't do it this stream. We'll probably get to that in like 2 or 3 weeks' time. So obviously the good ending is choosing to let her handle it, but the bad ending is to help her. So. Bit awkward. I can't let a girl do all the dirty work. And it's like, what is my being a girl have to do with anything? And it's like, oh, yeah, that kind of backfired, didn't it? And she even tells him that I could do it myself. Not great. I feel like this bit here is a bit stereotypical, or maybe cliche is the better word. It just feels a bit, you know, she might happen to fall over and everyone's looking at her. It's like, I mean, you could argue, you know, it's normal, it's not forced because people do fall over in high school, it happens, but to me it just feels a bit, oh, shy girl falls over, really embarrassed, type cliche. Yeah, so people, I think this was where we kind of cut the bullying stuff, where there are some girls standing nearby and laughing at her. That was kind of where we cut it out. We kind of just wanted to keep that on the periphery rather than make it a major focus of Yuri's route, because we see how much to handle if we kept the bullies in. Well, that was a very abrupt music transition. I don't really know, looking back, if MC would be this insightful. You know, it probably takes a lot of emotional intelligence to truly articulate why you don't feel so hot. I mean, yeah, looking back, we're going to be very critical of the stuff that we wrote. And it's not a reflection personally, but looking back, like, the more I look back on this mod, the more I pick out things that I don't like. Which probably wasn't great. I think originally the girls pushed Yuri rather than her falling over by herself. Yeah, I think so, that sounds about right. And then Sakurai got involved, and it was just like, no, that's messy. Yeah. This whole scene just feels a bit weird. You know, it's just like, now it's playing out the really sad music, and then it cuts back to okay one. People criticize. Well, someone criticized Act 2, saying it felt very disjointed, and yeah, I think it does. You know, you've got days that are just rewritten and awkwardly stitched together, whereas Act 3, because me and Britt planned that ourselves, it had a much better flow. Act 2 just feels a bit like a Frankenstein, you know, monster, just stitched together. That was a really short day, but okay. This is what I mean, like, the days just feel very, you know. So this track, I think it's called Tea and Tranquility. Or it's called An Exception Has Occurred. Oh, that's funny. I can't remember what actually inspired this track. Was this one that Nick just made by himself? I honestly can't remember. But there is a track in Banjo-Tooie called Ginger Village, which has a very similar type of instruments. I'm not going to play it and let you listen to it because no one gives that much of a shit. But if you care enough to have a listen to where this track may have come from, there you go, Banjo-Tooie, Ginger Village. I like this track, it's nice. With Yuri, you kind of have the really calm, they first met type track, and then you've got the slightly quicker, they're a bit more well acquainted with each other, and then you've got Rogue Elegance, which is where it's quite fast paced and it's a lot more kind of upbeat. I think someone was doing a music analysis video on Blue Skies, and he mentioned that those three tracks kind of symbolise different parts of their relationship. And I never thought of that. I thought that was a really cool observation. When revising the routes and scripts, were there any interesting or unexpected changes? Yes. So, if you really want to see what Blaze's writing was like, and what Yuri's route could have been, if you want to have a look at that, I can send you the link. I mean, it's awful, but you would see how crap Yuri's route would have been. So to put it in perspective, in the bad ending, I think Yuri would have like died, and then like a paramedic would have came and like crashed into an electrical like light post, and then like the exposed wires would have electrocuted him, or like the MC. I can't remember. It was some really dumb Final Destination type bollocks. And I remember when me and Britt were reading, we were just laughing. It was so bad. So a lot of things were cut, especially from Blaze. When it was Act 3 and me and Britt were writing it, I don't think so, because we kind of planned out what we wanted and we were kind of happy. We were kind of happy with what we were doing there. But next stream, I will read up on kind of the stuff that was cut from Blaze's writing and give you more of an in-depth answer, because there is a lot of stuff that changed from Yuri's route. I just can't remember off the top of my head. And I know, it's honestly ridiculous. The Yuri H scene, God, we'll get onto the Yuri H scene in time, don't worry. But there's so much to be said about Blaze. His legacy, if you want to call it that, his legacy was, yeah, it existed. But yeah, with Act 2, Brick kind of had to lengthen a few of the days and merge a few together. It was basically just damage control, really, because we really couldn't be bothered to rewrite Act 2 as well, to do Act 2 from scratch as well, because that would just take bloody ages. I think Yuri enjoying food, making food, I think is a character trait that kind of fits her. I suppose you could make the argument that would kind of fit Natsuki more, because obviously, she likes to bake and stuff. But I think it fits Yuri as well, and in the context of Amlord, the reason why she kind of does that is because, her parents are dead, so she has to find a way to cook for herself. So I just feel like cooking works for her, and we kind of wanted to give her more of a hobby, except from just reading and lavender oil, I guess. So this is an example of backgrounds. You having to kind of suspend your that suspension of disbelief, because this is clearly not a supermarket. This is not somewhere you'd go to buy like proper food stuff. This is a corner shop, or whatever they're called in America. But you just have to believe that you can buy the stuff in this kind of place. Yuri making more homey food and Natsuki making more extravagant stuff. Yeah, I can see that. I suppose Yuri cooks for herself because she has to. But again, so does Natsuki, so I don't know why I'm going to this. Anyway, let's crack on. Also, this background is definitely not the interior of that shop that we just saw. Like, not even remotely. But you have to just use what you can. Otherwise, you're never going to be able to progress with making your mod. So you'll notice in each route, as the MC kind of develops, the relationship develops with his girl of choice, he starts to pick up things more. So with Sayori, he plays video games more because it's kind of what they used to do to kids, like playing Banjo-Kazooie, which recently came to the Nintendo Switch N64 emulator service, which I picked up a few days ago. It's great. Shameless plug. What's not even my game? Anyway, but with Natsuki's route, he does a lot of he watches more anime, and in Yuri's route, he cooks a lot more. So it's kind of nice to see their personality reflect, rubbing off on him, not just thoughts-wise, but also in kind of the activities that he does. I thought that was a nice little change. I don't know what it would have been with Monica's route. Maybe just, I don't know, be more stressed out. Yeah, just talking about his upbringing. I mean, I suppose it was nice to give the MC a bit more depth. It was tricky because we didn't want him to be completely his own person, like say the Danganronpa protagonist, because we did want some element of self-insertion, but at the same time we didn't want to make him so much of a blank state that he was just a nothing character like he was in the base game. So we kind of had to strike a middle ground between the two, which was a bit tricky. Fish. Ugh, I hate fish. Sorry, Yuri, not a fan. Rice dishes though, katsu curry, chicken katsu curry. It's basic, but I fucking love it. yeah, this stuff is just how to make food. I can't really comment too much because I'm not really a cook or a chef myself, so I'm just going to skip over this. Blah blah blah. There probably is some deep developer insight I could give for this, but like I said, I'm not really on my A game. Oh, this all came from Brit. Well, I'm very sorry for skipping over your well-written descriptions. I just have nothing to add to this. But it's nice to know that, oh, you like reading and writing about it? Well, I'm glad that you managed to put it in. I'm really sorry for skipping over it. I just don't know what to add. This is where it would have been better if you were the one narrating it rather than me. But that's okay. We've got plenty of time in the rest of the commentary later on to go over that. Oh yeah, the story about Sayori burning the house by making dumplings. I don't know how you can manage that, but I guess Sayori's a bit of a muppet sometimes. Oolong tea. So Chris, my good friend Crash Punk, he loves tea and he loves Yuri. And for his birthday 2 years ago, I got him oolong tea because I know that Yuri really likes it, and he actually really enjoyed it. So it was nice to. That was cool, I guess. A fun little fact that nobody asked for. I don't know what moussaka is, but cool, I guess. Scary British? No, I am. Even though everything written here is in American English, which me and Tiffany died doing because, you know, he's Australian. Oh, is this Natsuki? I was not paying attention. Save. Why can't I save? You know, it doesn't matter, we're going for the bad ending, so it's fine. So, in the bad ending, you don't encourage Yuri to kind of come out of their shell and talk to people, so in this case, we are not. And it's really funny because the game literally tells you if you made the wrong decision. You know, I'm guessing she wanted to talk to her. So, how people actually got the bad ending is a bit beyond me. Although with some of the choices, it's not as immediately obvious. But so this day, I think Britt might have lengthened this one out. Oh no, I think Blaze actually did write a day where they go shopping, but Britt probably padded it out and made it more tolerable. You haven't seen the bad end for Yuri? I think Sayori's bad ending is the best one. And that sounds very up myself because I wrote it. Well, I wrote Yuri's as well. But I think it has a much bigger punch to it in terms of the aftermath. Because with Sayori's route you have her death and then you have the day after, whereas Yuri's route doesn't have that. In terms of the good endings though, I feel like Yuri's got the best good ending. Britt absolutely smashed it, and it kind of has that resolution of not just Yuri but the other club members, and it kind of, that's the kind of ending where you feel like everyone kind of benefits. Whereas with Sayori's, you kind of got that with the picnic, and obviously the focus on Sayori and how far she's come, no pun intended, with how that route ends. And Natsuki's, I don't even, from what I remember, Natsuki's endings are a bit Please don't crucify me, Tiffany or Alex, if you're watching. I think Natsuki's neutral endings are really good because they're quite bittersweet, but the the quote-unquote good ending is very short. Not short, but it has no build-up, and it ends at a place that really needs more juice. Whereas bad ending, I think, you know, Natsuki dying, that type of thing, it's a bit... It's whatever. Exit music syndrome. Yeah, this is just showing how the MC goes from being not bothering to cook to actually making an effort. So this bit here is perhaps one of the very few lines from Blaze that actually stuck and remained, because it actually made me laugh. Just the knock and him saying it's like they're very polite Robert or Yuri. I feel like that kind of humour made me laugh. And it stuck, which is rare for Blaze. Are Bulgarians European or Asian? They're European. What kind of question is that? You wouldn't say that Eastern Europe or Central Europe is Asia. Blah blah blah. Wait, is this? If I click on music, will it? Okay, so this is Rogue Elegance. This is a new track. So, with how the process worked for Blue Skies in making tracks for characters, so each Doki has her own like theme. So Sayori has like Cinnamon, Natsuki has Kokoro, and Yuri has like 3 of them, I guess. We kind of made like an upbeat version and like a chill version as well. So each girl ended up getting like 3, which is a bit much, I feel. Blue Skies has a lot of tracks, and some criticisms have said that maybe a bit too many. And I can kind of agree with that. Some of the piano tracks do sound a bit samey. But we modelled it after a mixture of Kasawa Shoujo and ourselves, in that we wanted each girl to have her own theme, and then we felt like sometimes the theme didn't fit the mood, so we wanted a new track. So we kind of extrapolated a bit, and we got a bit too many tracks in the end, but it's not a major criticism. Huckleberry Finn. I'm assuming that's a reference to Huckleberry Finn. This was some Blaze shit, and honestly I'm surprised that we didn't take it out. No idea. I have no idea what this is meant to be a reference to. Well, I mean, I know who it is, but I don't know what the joke is. It appears that Yuri doesn't get it either. Yeah, it was a pretty bad joke. Well, at least you're self-aware, I'm seeing. That's good. You can't have too much music? Yeah, that's true enough, I suppose. Teriyaki salmon. Yeah, this is just them making stuff. But I'm very sorry, but I'm sure you got more to say than I do. But for now, I'm just going to whiz through this. I think with here they're just talking about family and history together, how she grew up cooking and MC doing it as well. So it was nice to for Yuri and MC to kind of have that history of difficult parental kind of background. I guess they're more alike than we first thought. Huckleberry Finn is a joke on the name of a title of an old American classic. Great. Knowledge, I suppose. This is making me really hungry. I'm actually kind of hungry because I woke up super late today. So, at least it isn't a book that says I'll have you more than bacon. Yeah, I'm guilty there. I don't know what the fucking thought process was behind that. But I wrote it 3 years ago, and you know, I don't know how they got in the mod, mate. Neither do I. There's some shit in series really that I think is stupid, but the whole point of being a writer and reflecting and growing is you kind of look at your past mistakes and your past writing and think I can do so much better now. I'm not gonna redux the mod exit music because there are some things that we don't like. So this bit here is like really, it just feels like it's unnecessarily it's just unnecessary. So this whole scene about Yuri leaving behind the piece of paper that has the recipe of the teriyaki salmon on it. and him saying that your handwriting seems different. Like, it's just a weird way of getting the point across that it's his mum's handwriting. Like, I feel like this whole scene could have been done differently in perhaps when she hands him the recipe, he could have commented on it rather than at the end of the day where he goes back to specifically get it and then talk about it. It's just the flow is really whack, you know? Like, this is just Blaze. I think at this point we just couldn't be bothered. Like, me and Britt couldn't be. I think, no, Britt, you were the one who rewrote it. No, I think I did it as well because I wrote the fireworks scene for Act 2. Yeah, we just couldn't be arsed. There were just some things we were like, fuck it, you know? Because we had to do Act 3 at the time. We didn't want to do a whole route, so we were just like, fuck it. But that's just an example of very awkward, stiff scene placement that just doesn't serve any purpose rather than just disrupt the flow. We're streaming for an hour and a bit. We'll go a little bit further and then call it there. Because I don't think I'll get through all of Act 2 in one day. I can't remember. Oh yeah, this is when Yuri, Sayori and Natsuki go to a cafe after school, and then Sayori asks to bring him along. I think, and this is a very iffy, I think, because this is a long ass time ago, I think Cupcakes might have written this in an Act 2 plan, and then because obviously Blaze was going off that, he's the one who actually wrote it, and then obviously Britt fixed it because it was shit. There are some things in Yuri's route that are just a bit weird to me. Like, this is one of them. I guess it was to kind of have scenes. Yeah, I guess it was just scenes where you develop other characters. Yeah, I guess that's fine. Fair enough. Oh, so only you're at this scene? I mean, the scene itself is fine. I just couldn't remember why it was here, because for some reason it just felt a bit... I don't know. It's really awkward now. Oh, there weren't enough days in Act 2, that was it. Oh yeah, because Blaze's days were either really short, and there weren't enough of them. So you had to fluff it out a bit. Okay, no, fair enough. If it's you that wrote it and not Blaze, then I'm not gonna shit on it. I just assumed it was. Want to give more depth to the others. Yeah, fair enough. No, that's completely on me. It just goes to show how long it's been. That's my excuse. Oh look, this background that we reuse for like being a library and being a shop at the same time. Isn't it convenient, eh? I like how people that don't even know Blaze are shitting on him. That's great. Wait, what music is this? This is Free Time. No, it's not. It's not a Doki specific Hangout track. It's just generic Hangout music with a very original name of Free Time. You know him? Wait, who? Without sounding like that meme, who are you? Who are you in the DDLC community then? It'd be really awkward if you were like, I am Blaze. Imagine how awkward that would be. Oh god. I mean, I wouldn't apologise for it, because Blaze did cause us a lot of stress and discord, so... I thought you were saying yeah to me saying, are you Blaze? And I was about to say, this is about to get really awkward. But, something to get Yuri. Parchment paper? Parchment in fucking 2020. Well, this was written 2019-ish. Imagine that. Some Harry Potter shit right there. Tea isn't even sweet, it's basically just bitter leaf juice. I mean, I know I'm English, but I don't give a shit about tea. But I know a lot of people that would take offence to that. Boba. Double tea. Oh, it came from Taiwan. Natsuki just getting fucking bullied. ATLA? I don't even know what that stands for. What's next for you all? Gonna make more mods or even an original VN? No, not really. Nah, that ship sailed years ago. There was a period in time in 2020 and early or mid 21 where I had just an abundance of free time and I was thinking about making a VN, but now that I've started a job this last year, I just don't have the time for it. So Blue Skies will be the only thing that I make. I'm not sure about the other developers. I know that Britt likes to do art and write stuff, so I'm not sure with her. But for me, yeah, this is what I'm gonna make. Oh God, I've got so much tension in my back. Bad posture. Me and Yuri have that in common. So this background was a background that was bought from a website. I can't remember the name of. Was it Minical? I think it was Minical. It was one of the packs that I bought. Dude, the amount of money that I threw at this mod wasn't like tons, but it was over £100, which is like $130, which in the grand scheme of things really isn't that much, but still a lot to put in for a mod, I suppose. Hatto full tea. Britt, I'll let you explain this one. Because even I know what this is meant to be, but I'll let you explain it. Oh, this is Simplicities. Is this Simplicities? Yeah, this is a Sayori track. This is one of my favourite Sayori tracks. It's very bouncy. Yeah, so Hatto for Tea is a reference to a visual novel called Hatto for Boyfriend. It's a VN where you date pigeons. It's pretty expensive. Apparently it's really good. And it has a lot of depth to it. I mean, I haven't played much of it myself, so I've heard things about it. Give it a try. If you want to date pigeons. Don't know why you want to, but the option's there. Yeah, there's loads of references in Blue Skies. Some of them are very obvious, some of them are not so obvious, and some of them people still haven't noticed until I point them out. Not until we point them out. Is this manga also a reference to something? Feels like it probably is. A girl who discovers these guardian characters that can unlock people's true potentials. But thankfully Brit is here, because I have no fucking clue what this would be a reference to. It's Persona. That's what it is. Persona 5. Oh, this is definitely a reference to something. Shoulder length hair, school uniform, tomboy, tying around the belt. Shugoka. I've never even heard of that. I don't even know, like Kai-ish? K? You know, Kai. I don't know what any of this shit is. But thankfully Brit's here to explain it, because I don't know what it is. Brit, did you ever finish Persona 4 Golden? I know you were playing it on your potato laptop like years ago. Rose Revolution. I assume that's an actual anime. Let me check that out on my phone real quick. Rose Revolution. What the fuck? The Rose Revolution, or Revolution of Roses, was a change of power in Georgia in November 2003. Okay. I just got fucking played. You should finish it, bro. It's really good. Oh, that's a shame. It's a very long game to finish, though. So. Oh, okay. I was gonna say, if Rose Revolution is like some made-up thing, that'd be really funny. Ah, okay. Oh, okay. Name Mutana Wakaba. I wonder how many people actually got this reference. I haven't heard many people talk about like the feedback saying all that. Probably no one, because no one's. I mean, from the 90s. Yeah, and the player base is like the people that were born after 2005. I'm kidding. Kind of. Where are we now? I think I will get up to Halloween and then call it there. That's like the halfway point for Act 2. Yeah, I think we're approaching it now. I don't know if this is a reference to a particular anime, Brit. You wanted to write a scene where everyone went clothes shopping for Nat? I have no memory of that. Huh, it slipped through my mind. Old paper puppet craft. Try saying that 3 times fast. Old paper puppet crafts. Air of mystery and age to the stories. I have no idea what this could be. I think this is the day where he goes to the graveyard and he sees Yuri. Yeah, it is. How does Stephen King do it? Probably with lots of cocaine. How do you pronounce that? Yamishibai? I hope that's somewhat accurate. So this background is, if I remember correctly, is just a background of like trees, and I think Brit, you did this, or Chris did it. They photoshopped the gates in, I could be wrong, but that's what my memory tells me. But either way, it's funny how it's a graveyard. There's not a single tombstone or grave in sight. You kind of have to just kind of, you know, suspend disbelief there. This is just a classic example of backgrounds. You know, having grave backgrounds, they don't exist, so you have to get a bit creative with them. That's a nice coat that she wears. Sprites always just, oh, S tier. People always comment very positively on the sprites. The odd person bitches about the Monica sprite, but I think it's just because they're not used to it. But this is a really nice winter sprite for Yuri. I think the black and the type of trench coat that she's wearing really suits her. Why is Yuri visiting the graveyard? Oh, inspiration. Oh, fucking hell. Like, I really wish that we didn't make this guy such a fucking idiot. Like, just changed it to something that's... Yuri would drip. Yeah, Yuri would drip. Yeah, it's one of those backgrounds where it's just clearly not what it's meant to be, but whatever. Like, this is just... a rose petal. Where did that come from? Oh, it came off the flower arrangements back in the cemetery. Like, why did Blaze... Like, what was he trying to achieve with this? He was trying to make it really obvious that her parents are dead, but it's like... When you think about it, was it necessary? Like, you could cut out, like, the really obvious stuff and the root would be fine. You know, like, we keep shitting on Blaze, but you will see the quality difference from Act 2 to Act 3, like, believe me. Well, I think the last day of Act 2 is pretty good. The Christmas scene and the fireworks day, because I wrote those, and Blaze hadn't. I got rid of all of Blaze's writing fluff because it sucked. I did it all myself. And I'll say so myself, I think it's a lot better than his writing. Hopefully people will agree, I don't have to be very awkward. Oh, we can talk about the weather effects here, which is nice. As if on cue, here they are. So this was something that Crashpunk, a good friend of mine, added to the mod. He was fiddling around when me and Britt were slaving away over the writing and the directing and the coding. He was thinking of ways to kind of just a few kind of nice touches to the mod to kind of spruce it up a bit, along with the phone sprite which he added, which he did a wonderful job with. Adding the weather effects or something else, and yeah, we have rain and we have snow. I don't think there's anything else. Yeah, and I really like it because it makes the scene feel a bit more alive, rather than just, you know, static backgrounds. But just rain. It's funny because now this very same store where they bought supermarket stuff from is now referred to as a convenience store. Thinking emoji. Shy girls are seriously cute. I know a lot of people that would agree with that. Wait, what? What is this music? Why is this music playing? This is the sex music. I mean, I think I know. Oh, I know. So it was to kind of. It was like the somber piano that we were going for, but this shouldn't be playing right now. Oh, it's funny. Oh, that's not the right place for this music. But whatever. Wait, what? They say it's raining really hard, but there's no rain. Cool. I guess we forgot to add it in there. And yeah, there is a lot of tea shit in Act 2 of Brit, I agree. Yeah, okay, it probably isn't just the sex music, but... Wait, no, it is the sex music, because it only plays during the sex scenes. I mean, we really should have used something else. They don't have sex here, just spoiler alert. Yeah, there really should be rain here. It's really awkward that there's no rain. How do we forget this? Oh, that's fantastic. Oh man, how did we forget it? Oh man, how did we settle on the sex twist with Yuri's H scene? God, that's a good question. I know that when we wrote Sayori's H scene, we wanted that to just be, you know, a nice, wholesome, you know, lovemaking kind of thing. Whereas with Yuri's, you know, as you know, there's that twist of she felt like she had to do it. How did we come up with that? Contrary to popular belief, it wasn't from Hanako's route, from Katawa Shoujo, even though like a lot of the things in this route do feel like that route as well. Yeah, I can't remember before we wrote the H scene. There was something with Sayori's route where I was thinking of adding an H scene where she wasn't really into it, but not because, you know, she didn't consent, but because people who have depression, a common effect that they have is lowered libido and sex drive. But in the end, I didn't want to have a sex scene that was kind of, she was sort of into it, and then at the end I thought it was just too many sex scenes, so I thought fuck it, we'll just do it at the end, no pun intended. But we definitely wanted Yuri's H scene and series to be quite different in terms of kind of the context and the aftermath and kind of the actual scene itself. And don't say rape, dude, like, even as a joke, that's kind of fucked. Okay, I guess this was just kind of a moment, like one, it was like moments in the rain where they have the heart-to-heart, that kind of thing. Talking about parents and mothers and all that stuff. And the fact that she's saying, you know, everything in the past tense, like, come on, dude. So obvious. Why would you skip Sayori's sex scene? Like, I put a lot of work into that. You're too Christian. Okay. Fair enough, let's not get into that now. Oh yeah, look at the bus scene. That's definitely not a train. We really couldn't get a bus background, like, for the life of us. It was just impossible. So we just had to say, fuck it, it's a train. We use a train one, just suspended of disbelief. Also, for those of you that have played Apex Legends, and I think only Xenoblade is the only one that's played it in the chat, the poster of the lady looks like Wraith, and I can't unsee that. So that's cool. I think that there's another choice that you have to make here. So now the rain is gone. Sorry, it would make sense there not to be rain here, but earlier it really should have been there. Wait, is it still playing sex music? Yeah, it is. Fuck's sake. It's very looking forward to Mad Maggie. Yeah, she pops up in Blue Skies. Alright, dickheads. Trying to find a fucking Monica, right? Sorry. Right, back to Yuri commentary. So I think, and Brett, I am very sorry if this is wrong. I think this bit where Yuri talks about the light and kind of how nice it is, etc. I think Blaze wrote this, because I remember it being a scene where I was like, yo, this is actually kind of good. Like, when he's serious and he's not trying to put in stupid fucking memes, it actually, and turns out to look, decent. I'm really sorry if you wrote it, Brett. I'm really sorry if that is the case. But I think he's the one that wrote this. She gets very philosophical about it all. And talking about, the light and the fireflies, and you would not believe you're right. No, we're not doing that. Just saying, I wonder if you wrote the bass but you fixed it. Well, 50-50, I suppose then. Either way, let's give him a little bit of credit where it's due. Yes, you fixed it and you probably made it a lot more readable, but I think the actual conversation itself, the bass, was pretty good. I think it's definitely something that Yuri could have done. So that's cool. And there's a lot of talk about being lonely, etc. It's all just, is it foreshadowing? I don't know, or just highlighting the fact that she's alone. Oh, you were the one who made it philosophical? It's been so long, I can't remember. But either way, it's a really, really good scene. It's perhaps one of the best standouts from Act 2. I mean, it's really easy with Yuri's route to get very poetical. Is that a word? Poetical? Yes. Is it Halloween? No, he's ill. Okay, I'm actually going to call it there because I'm streaming for an hour and a half and I want Britt to be able to join in with commentary for Act 2 as well. So I'm going to call it there. We're about nearly halfway through Act 2. Why is it not changed to Yuri's version of the main theme? That's weird, it should have done that. Okay, cool. I'm going to call it there. Look at all these tracks that you can't see. Yeah, because this is a new save file. I don't have all the tracks from the mod. But either way, that's pretty much the first part of the developer commentary. Next Saturday, Britt will be joining me on the dev commentary as well. So that's really cool. Hopefully there'll be a bit more variety in terms of the content because I've forgotten a lot of this. But yeah, I will give you guys a bit more of a heads up when it'll be because I appreciate that this stream was very short notice. I just kind of came back from Jum's practice and I was like, cool, let's stream Yuri because I had fuck all else to do. So yeah, next Saturday we'll probably do part 2. Probably get through Act 2 and maybe a bit of Act 3. Yuri's route is quite long, so depending on how long we stream for each time, it'll probably be like 3, 4, maybe 5 parts, depending on how much detail we want to go into for this. But that's pretty much part 1. Thank you guys for sticking around and asking questions. I appreciate that it can be a bit long, especially when the stream's going on for 2 hours, but it's been a good stream, I really enjoyed it. Sorry that Yuri's route is a bit scatty compared to Sayori's. Obviously it's been such a long time and Yuri's route is a bit more disjointed in terms of the history, but hopefully it's been good so far. The VOD